Hello, everyone. This is Ross Carpri again with Keller Williams Metro South, coming to you again today to talk about real estate business. And I have on the phone with me also Andy Gagliano. He's with Gagliano Mortgage, and we're going to discuss some things today. And Andy, I know with the governmental shutdown, you're hearing a lot of things on your end, and I wanted to kind of get your input on what are you hearing, and let's kind of talk about it and see if we can make sense of it all.
Yeah, Ross, it's good to see you again. Thanks for having me on the video with you. And yeah, I'm from the people that I'm talking to, it just seems like there's a lot of uncertainty in the economy right now, and people are kind of buyers, I should say, are kind of just waiting to see what happens. Also, we've got a lot of homeowners, potential sellers, we can call them, that are in a wait and see or a holding pattern type of situation as well, to where I'm hearing them say, well, i'm I'm I want rates to come down. I need rates to come down before I move. I would move if rates were lower than where they are now. So I'm hearing a lot of that. And I was just kind of wondering, are you hearing the same thing? And if so, what are your thoughts? What would you tell a potential buyer? We'll start there, and we can touch on the topic of a seller here in just a minute. What would you tell a potential buyer who says to you, hey, Ross, I, I would like to buy my first home, or I would like to buy a new home, but I'm waiting on mortgage rates to come down because, the Federal Reserve is going to be lowering rates over the next year or so, is what I'm hearing. And so what would your response be to a buyer that you hear say something like that?
Well, I have to try to take in a lot of different things to that, but several things that come to my mind. If the To me, the best time to buy is today. We already know that, but if you look and say, okay, I'm going to wait 12 months to buy another house, to buy a house, maybe by then rates will be low. Then what I do is get with them and see, okay, you're paying rent right now, and how much is it? And they'll tell me probably $1,500 a month. And I'll ask them to calculate $1,500 times 12. And at the end of that time frame, I don't know how much that is. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but let's just say
18,000.
18,000. All right, so $18,000 from now, you're going to check back and see if the rates are any better than they are right now. Might be, and might not be, but you're still out of $18,000. The best time to buy is today, and put that $18,000 towards your purchase price, towards your house. You'll build up equity as you're moving along, and then a year from now, you'll be a year in the home. Property values will probably increase. I think they've said recently anywhere from 8 to 10% a year, maybe more, depending on where you are. There's some neighborhoods that the property value increases a lot more than that, but it just depends on where you are, condition of the home, etc. And a year from now, you're $18,000 better. So there's really not a reason to wait, because even if rates drop a percentage point or even a half a percentage point, you're still out of $18,000. The amount of money that you spent to rent is still going to be way more costly than what a mortgage would be if you go with the current rates today. And then if rates drop down a percent or 2% a year from now, then you can refinance.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're in the house that your first home. You're in that house. You're building up equity. You're getting a better interest rate. You refinance the house, and you're still to the good. So, in my opinion, even though I'm a realtor and that's what we do, we have to look at it, the pros and cons. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, the pros of buying a house now way outweigh the cons. Whether the interest rate is 7%, 6.5% or whatever it is today, because you have a lot of sellers that want to sell, that are willing to offer incentives. I have several clients now that the sellers are willing to buy down your interest rate. So okay, let's say the problem is I don't want to pay 7% interest rate, and you're at an opportunity now where sellers are willing to say, hey, look, I'll buy your interest rate down to 6 or 6.5%. So you're better off, and then that theory about waiting until the interest rates have dropped is gone, because you don't need it anymore. You've got sellers today that are willing to do that.
Right.
A year from now, that might not be the case. A year from now, properties might be hot again like it was a year and a half or 2 years ago, whenever you put it on the market, you had multiple offers. Well, those days have eased a little bit. You still have that, but it's nothing like it was a couple of years ago when you put a house on the market and you get 10 offers first day.
Right.
Those days are not with us right now. So to me, the best time is to buy is now, and just see how the market goes. And a year from now, you're still going to be to the good. If rates are lower, you refinance it. If it's not, then you've spent a year paying that new house note. You're probably a little more comfortable with it at that time, and just continue rocking on like you're doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good advice. And one thing I would just add to it from my perspective as someone in the mortgage business, I and one of the things I always try to do is let's take the emotion out of the transaction, and let's look at it like it's just a financial decision, and go to what you said of, okay, they're going to pay $18,000 in rent over a 12-month period of time. And of that $18,000, if they'd bought a house and were paying $1,500 a month on a mortgage payment, they would pay the same $18,000 on a mortgage, but about $3,000 or $4,000 of that 18 that they would pay on a mortgage would go to paying the mortgage balance down,
Right.
to make it lower. So they're essentially paying themselves some money of
Building
that
up
18
equity.
grand.
Correct.
And so, that's one thing that I would look at, and I would encourage people who are considering buying to look back. 12 months ago, the general consensus in the US economy was that the Federal Reserve was going to be lowering interest rates, and that interest rates would be lower 12 months from that point. Well, here we are 12 months later. Home prices have gone up. Mortgage rates are almost to the 0.1% the same as they were 12 months ago.
Right.
Well, let's go back 24 months from today, because a general consensus at that point in time was, hey, the Federal Reserve needs to lower interest rates, and rates will be lower 12 months. And actually, the rates were not. They were the same. So we're looking at a 24-month period of time where real estate prices have been going up, mortgage rates have stayed the same. And here we are, we've got people who've been paying rent, waiting on mortgage rates to drop, and they've taken that rent money. And I'm not going to say they threw it in the trash, because they did not. What they did was they made their landlord wealthier.
Right.
And when you look at that and you consider that as a potential home buyer, that should be all the motivation you need to get out and start looking at a home to buy.
That's exactly right.
You are making your landlord wealthier the longer you stay in that property. And who would you rather pay money to, yourself or to your landlord?
Right.
And so, to me, that's just a really good way to look at it. And no one knows, you touched on it, no one knows what interest rates are going to do. No one. So
a lot of it has to depend on the motivation of the buyer as well. Because
right?
if you look at that 2-year scenario you just talked about, you look in your rear view mirror, you're going to see $36,000 gone somewhere
Yeah,
in the landlord's pocket, and you could probably have probably more than that accumulate in your equity on the house that you buy had you purchased it 2 years ago.
yeah,
So it's kind of a no-brainer, but people don't see it that way because their mindset is, oh gosh, interest rates are 7% or 6.75% or whatever. So what? Again, the ultimate results is you're building up equity, you're paying yourself, and a year from now, 2 years from now, that money comes to you and not to a landlord.
yeah. You're exactly right. And, you know, kind of, I guess the thing that I would close on is just a recommendation for anyone who's watching this who thinks that they may want to buy or thinks that they can't afford to buy right now. And I would encourage them to quit thinking that you can't afford to buy and look at your actual numbers.
Right.
Have a conversation with a mortgage loan officer, have a conversation with a realtor. We're not going to push you into doing something. I know Ross very well. I know myself very well. Obviously, neither one of us are going to push you into buying something today. If it's not the right time for you, then it's not the right time. But
Right.
here's what I would say. Your bank statements don't lie. Pull your last 2 months, 3 months bank statements. Go through that bank statement. Look at how much money you put into that bank account. And then I want you to look at how much money over that 2 or 3 month period of time you wasted. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm not going to say you wasted your rent money because you had to have a roof over your head, but there's a better way to have a roof over your head. So look at what you're paying in rent, but also look at what you're paying to eat out once a day, twice a day, 3 times a week, whatever it happens to be. Look how much you're spending at Starbucks buying coffee. Do you really need the coffee, an $8 cup of coffee, when you could go buy a package of coffee at the grocery store and make your own coffee at home? And just look at how much money you're wasting, how much money you're throwing away, and know that we'll just go through and add that up over a month's period of time and
Right.
say, okay, well, I'm paying $1,500 a month in rent, but I'm throwing away $400 a month on stuff that I don't need, that
Right.
doesn't do me any good. So
Yeah.
then, okay, I can pay. Maybe I still want to spend $100 a month going out for coffee or going out for to grab some fast food or something at lunchtime or whatever it happens to be. So now you've got 300 of that 400 that you can put towards your house payment. And the truth of the matter is, for most of us, if we have the income to support the debt, we will buckle down and we will find a way to make that debt payment. And we'll find a way to make it work. We'll find a way to continue to live and do the things that we want to do and enjoy life and do all that. Make sure our kids have clothes and have food on the table as well. So just go through and look at those things and instead of just speculating and saying you can't afford right now because interest rates are so high, look at the numbers, run the numbers yourself, and
Hmm.
be honest with yourself and just look to see, can I really do it right now?
Right. Right.
So, you know, that's one thing I love about math, Ross, is numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
They're black and white, and they
And
will
it
not.
depends on how you look at them. You can look at the numbers several ways, but I think the way you just pointed out is the best way. Look at what you're spending. Look at what you're that will quote need, but you really don't. Like you
Mhm.
said, if you go get a cup of coffee every day. Well, you multiply that times 5, and that'll blow your mind by itself. And plus, lunches nowadays are not cheap.
Oh no.
So you're going to spend on the average lunch, and we're talking just a light lunch. You're probably looking at least $10, $10 to $15. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, but if you look at it the right way, then I think you'll find that, hey, maybe I can afford to buy a house, put a little money down. And today, with the way the economy is, sellers are more willing to help. They can help
Absolutely.
you with buying down. They can help you with, paying your closing costs. I just had a house I closed on not too long ago where the seller paid $8,000 of the buyer's closing costs. Well, that's $8,000 that he didn't have and could not have come up with.
Yeah.
So we made it work. So things happen, and you've got to do it when it's the time to do it. And to me, the time is right now, because there's no, when demand is high and inventory is low, then sellers have less ability or incentive to lower the price or help with financing or concessions. And now it's not like that. Sellers are willing to do that, and now's the time for that to happen. So
Yeah. Yeah.
well, good deal.
I'll agree. Yeah. This has been good. And it's something that I feel strongly about, being in the business, that, there's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines right now that are missing a golden opportunity.
I agree.
And, I just hate to see that. I care about people, and I know you do too. And I hate to see someone not take advantage of a good time to buy. And
Right.
that's now.
And I hate for people to say, gosh, I wish somebody would have told me that, but that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. So,
That's right.
guys, if you have any questions, you can give me a call at 205-601-0123. I'll let Andy give you all his numbers, and just give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about any of this.
Yeah. Thank you, Ross. 205-979-4412 extension 1 is how you can reach me. And there's no pressure and no cost to have a conversation. So feel free to give me a call, and I'll be glad to help out in any way that I can and just answer questions for you. That's what I'm here for.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Andy. And
Yeah.
till next time, buddy, have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Ross.
All right.
All right. Goodbye.